Hello, my strong friends. I wanted to very quickly intro this video and tell you that +1 is my prenatal program, and we also have a postpartum option. I've been working on it my entire pregnancy. I'm 37 weeks today as I'm filming this. We've been working on it for forever. We launched this week. So if you want to check it out, please do click the first link down below. I've made a ton of videos about strength training during pregnancy, and I am so excited to finally share something that you can take and have all of that information that I've been posting about organized and really easy to understand so that you can train heavy, but stay confident and continue having a great time during pregnancy. I've actually enjoyed being pregnant, which is amazing, and I think a lot of that has to do with staying strong and staying active. So check it out, first link down below.
Hello, my strong friends. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a pretty specific topic, and that is the supine position during pregnancy. If you're new here, hello, my name's Meg Squats. I'm currently, at the time of filming, 35 and 1 day pregnant, which is really exciting. Yes, I've also decided that I am not buying maternity clothes. I've got 5 weeks left and I'm not gonna waste some more money on maternity clothes. So I'm busting at the seams here. But anyway, that's besides the point. I am a strength coach, so I've been talking a lot about strength training during pregnancy. And one of the questions that I get pretty often is about the supine position. So the supine position is when you're lying flat on your back. If you're pregnant, you may have heard that you shouldn't sleep flat on your back in later stages of pregnancy. Some physicians recommend after 16 weeks of pregnancy, you don't want to sleep on your back anymore. Of course, if you're strength training, if you're lifting, or if you're someone who's watched my channel, then you probably have done the bench press, which you're lying flat on your back. So we're gonna talk about why that recommendation is given, and also what you can do to adjust, and the kind of conflicting advice that we hear about this position. If you're new here, then please subscribe to my channel. If you are pregnant, I do have a prenatal strength program called +1, so check that out in the link below, and give this video a like if you guys want to see more videos like this. Why do we get this advice? So in the past, physicians have suggested to avoid sleeping on the back in supine position, and sometimes that kind of blankets all supine position. Just don't do it, because the weight of the baby when you're lying on your back can possibly block the vena cava, which is the main artery that brings blood to the lower half of the body. Some of these recommendations have been starting at week 16. Week 16, the baby isn't really that heavy, but I'm sure a lot of the physician recommendations are erring on the side of caution, which makes sense because we want to do that. The confusing thing is that the recommendation is around long periods of time. So a long period of time, in my opinion, would be like when you're sleeping. You don't want to sleep on your back. That makes sense to me. That's a long period of time, 8 hours maybe, hopefully, if you're sleeping enough. And I'm gonna guess that if you're bench pressing, usually we do higher rep ranges during pregnancy to kind of introduce a self-limiting factor to lower intensity slightly. So let's say I'm doing a bench press of max, I'd probably do 15 reps. A set of 15 reps could take you anywhere from, actually, let's see how long it takes me to do 15 reps today. So that's the time that I have for my 15 reps. Is this amount of time enough to be considered a long period of time? I don't know, it's not really well defined. But the biggest recommendation is how you're feeling during exercise. And you want to monitor how you're feeling during a set that takes this long, or during however much time you spend in supine position. You want to look out for a few very important things. That's lightheadedness any tingling of the legs or tingling of the body if something like falls asleep during exercise. You want to keep an eye for any nausea or general discomfort. So if you experience any of those things during your set of bench press that takes this long, then I would highly recommend avoiding the supine position and just switching to an incline. The lucky thing is that it's a really easy substitution, just switching to a slight incline. It's not that different of a movement. You may be self-limiting a little bit more, like you might not be able to bench as much weight, but that's fine for the duration of pregnancy, in my opinion. It's just a small sacrifice to make. So that's my suggestion. Those are the things that you want to look out for if you're ever in the supine position. The confusing thing is the guidelines around this are pretty conflicting, and a lot of the organizations will err on the side of caution. Some research though has been suggested that as long as you feel okay lying on your back and you're not experiencing those symptoms that I mentioned and your breathing isn't impaired after or during exercise, then you're probably okay to use this. I would just suggest, like, obviously you don't want to do your set of bench press and just lie down on the bench during your resting time. I would avoid doing that, which is definitely something that I have done in the past before when I was not pregnant. Monitor your symptoms, constantly monitor them. If you want to err on the side of caution, switch to that 15-degree incline and you can kind of practice safe benching. Okay, I want to talk about, since we're on the topic of bench press during pregnancy, I want to talk about some other modifications that I make to modify for the growth of belly and being pregnant. It's a hot topic to understand when you need to introduce a modification during pregnancy, at what time should you do that, and what the hell should it look like. In the first trimester, it's likely that you won't need to modify as much. You don't really need to worry about this consideration of being in supine position, so it might make sense to bench as much as you can and bench normally, knowing that in later stages of pregnancy you are going to adjust it. So some of the first things that I changed was going, whenever I started experiencing some belly growth, maybe some pregnancy-related back pain, I adjusted to a feet-up bench press. That just made it so that I wasn't getting in an arched position, which was a little bit more friendly on my low back because I was going through some low back pain. And also it made it so that I wouldn't have to worry about any additional stretching of my growing abdomen. As we know, this part of our body gets stretched out and goes all crazy. Our abs separate, our linea alba lengthens, and we do want to avoid any overstretched or overarched position. So once you start noticing belly growth, or once you start seeing symptoms of like coning or understanding that you're having some diastasis recti, the separation of the abs, then you probably want to avoid any extra arching. So that's where I would switch to feet up bench press. It might just be a safe thing to do, to just understand like, okay, starting in the second trimester, I'm switching to feet up bench press. That's what I did. It's also just more comfortable. It's also self-limiting. So it's harder to complete the feet up bench press than it would be a regular bench press. So introducing some self-limiting factors may make sense as you're slightly lowering intensities during pregnancy. Of course, if you're ever interested in understanding general strength training modifications, then I would check out some of my previous prenatal training videos if you haven't watched those already. In the third trimester, as you start getting bigger, maybe low back pain becomes even more of a concern, you might want to try the incline and spend the third trimester in an incline position. The reason I suggest that is because it will be more and more difficult to get in and out of the supine position on something like a bench or on the floor. So you do want to consider that you don't want to like crunch up out of your bench or supine position. You want to do this like ninja roll technique that I'll show you guys here. So roll off to one side and then get up from the bench. It's just hard to navigate a bar or dumbbells when you have to do the ninja roll. So keep that in mind. And other than that, you know, if you're cleared for exercise and you're cleared for strength training, then keep lifting heavy and having fun. Bench has been one of the lifts for me during pregnancy that I have been able to maintain a lot of strength. Although I feel like my upper body has lost some muscle mass, but not too much. Definitely my lower body has lost more muscle mass, but that's okay. Those are all things that I can get back in postpartum. I'm not gonna stress about it. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give the video a like. Be sure to check out +1, my prenatal program. If you're someone who's strength training and interested in getting pregnant or are newly pregnant, check out my program, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.